Good evening, everyone. Pastor Brad Closter here. Welcome to Trials to Triumph. Glad to have you aboard. I'm grateful every time we get to do this. It's a little annoying, though, because you get to see me and I don't get to see you, but it's the best we got. And maybe someday there'll be technology that we can do this differently. Or even better yet, whether you're a part of our church family or not, but especially if you're not a part of our church family, I'll be able to see you in church, because that's a great place to grow in the things of God. So welcome aboard anybody who's joining us on Facebook or YouTube, whether you are live or after the fact, but we're glad to have you with us. We've been talking about the power of potential. And the fact of the matter is, every one of us has potential on the inside of us. God put it there, and He has great things for our life. But I want to talk to you about something tonight that is a little bit frustrating. And you know this, and I know this, but it's the problem with wasted potential. Because you have seen, and I have seen, in various areas of life, we have seen great talents or great potential in many areas. Being a sports guy, I will say that I've seen many athletes, we'll say, who have great athletic potential, but something in their life stopped them from realizing the dream of being a great athlete. Maybe it was an addiction or a habit, or even something tragic like a sickness or disease or death or something like that. But one way or the other, that potential was wasted. And I want to talk to you a minute tonight about that, because I don't want you to be another story of wasted potential. I want to read a verse for you. It's 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 10. And I'm just going to read it the first part of this verse to get the point. But 2 Timothy 4:10. And Paul is writing to Timothy, and he's writing about one of the men he's actually writing about a few of the men who traveled with him, and one of them is named Demas. And here's what he had to say about Demas. He said, "For Demas has forsaken me, having loved this present world, and departed for Thessalonica." Now, I have a problem with this, because this to me is an ultimate example of wasted potential. Demas traveled with Paul. Paul is not some no-name nobody out doing his own thing. Paul is the man of the day, the missionary, the apostle, whatever you want to call him, of the day. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of miles and hundreds of people and churches that he started, and thousands of people affected by the life of Paul. And as far as we know, Demas could have been the next Paul. He could have. He ended up not being, but he could have been. That's my point, is wasted potential. Because here's this guy traveling with Paul. He's in ministry with Paul. He's doing everything that Paul's doing. He's helping him. He's seeing all these things. He's seeing lives change. He's seeing people be set free. He's seeing the power of God work through Paul. But yet he decided to love the things of the world more than his realizing his potential. And it's just so sad to me. And I want to give you a couple warnings when it comes to wasted potential about what you can look for in yourself to make sure, and I'm going to give them quick because we don't have a lot of time, but 3 things to make sure that you watch for in yourself to be sure that you are not wasting potential. Number 1, one of the great enemies of potential is being selfish. If you have any ounce of selfishness at all, you will not do what God has called you to do, because it's hard work. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of sacrifice, but you will not fulfill your potential if there's any selfishness in you at all. You will also, this is number 2, you will also not fulfill your potential, and you might even waste your potential if you've learned how to be a deceiver. Meaning, you've learned how to live one way one time and another way another time. Because obviously Demas fell in love with the things of the world, but he was traveling with Paul. So how did that happen? I can't imagine that Paul was in love with the things of the world. He was doing what he was supposed to do, but maybe when the meeting shut down for the night, when they were done for the day, Demas had other plans, and he walked a certain way, talked a certain way, acted a certain way with Paul, but then when everything was over, he had a whole nother thing in mind. So he fell in love with the things of the world. If you learn how to be a deceiver, I'm doing one thing at one time and one thing at a different time. And then the third thing to watch out for in yourself is, are you a deserter? Meaning, are you willing to just abandon something because you're willing to abandon the plan because I don't want to. It's uncomfortable. It takes too much time. I have something better to do. You're willing to just walk away. You're willing to desert, or you're willing to abandon because something in your mind has become of more importance than what you had originally committed to do, or even worse yet, what God had called you to do. So here is these three things again, one more time. Be careful if you have any selfishness, if you've learned how to be a deceiver or live like this double life, or number three, if it's not a big deal for you to desert something or someone, because after all, why would I listen to anybody? See, these are the three areas that Demas must have given way to, that I don't want you to give way to, because I don't want you to waste our potential. You and I are full of potential. Let's use what we've been given and accomplish great things for God. Let's not have this said about us, that we forsook God and his call and his man just for the earthly pleasures of life. Hey, I hope this challenged you tonight. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again next time on Trials to Triumph.